If you feel like you're not making progress in the gym, this might be why. I used to work at Google, and in some quarters, I would be the top performer in EMEA. A little bit of a humble brag, I know, but what really stood out wasn't really my performance, it was watching the difference between the top performers and everyone else. What separated the top performance from the rest wasn't talent or some secret strategy, it was sheer work volume. The median performers were always asking for the best narratives for their sales pitch, the best hooks to get more calls, they were looking for shortcuts to optimize their work. And the top performers, they just did more calls, more customer conversations, and better follow through. They put their heads down and did the fucking work. And now as a personal trainer, I see the same patterns again. My most successful clients, they're relentless at tracking their calories, weighing themselves every day, pushing themselves to the limit every single session. The ones who are making decent progress, they're the ones asking for the best exercises, the best supplements, whether fasting is worth it. At the same time, they're half-assing their workout or ordering takeout when they're tired. This isn't just a fitness thing. This is how success works in every domain. The people who win do the boring and fundamental work that everyone else is trying to avoid. So when I tell you the fastest way to progress is to stop chasing progress, that's not just theory. It's a pattern I've seen prove itself over and over again. And I know that sounds backwards, but here's why it's true. Only 5% of the people train at least 3 times a week consistently. The bar is so fucking low that if you just show up, you're already winning. Let me break down the numbers for you. 13% of the adults in Ireland, where I'm based, have a gym membership. Of those people, 15 to 20% rarely or never even go. Then only 30 to 40% of people who have a gym membership train 3 or more times a week. 95% of the people can't even train 3 times a week. So when I say progress way faster than anyone else, the competition isn't even showing up. Most people quit before they even got started. And the ones who do start, they're gone after a few weeks. They're already restarting, looking for an easier path. That's why chasing quick results will actually slow you down. Because you're program hopping, diet hopping, looking for a magic formula. While the 5% who are actually progressing, they picked something basic and stuck to it. Here's what I see constantly as a PT. Someone comes to me and says, I tried carnivore and it didn't work. Or I did this program for a few weeks, but I'm not seeing the results. But I want you to realize is that it's never about the diet or the program. It's about 2 things. First, you need to understand the fundamentals. It's not that carnivore failed you. You just didn't know you still need a calorie deficit to lose fat. The diet doesn't magically surpass thermodynamics. You were expecting magic from a tool you didn't know how to use. And secondly, you quit when it gets uncomfortable. The first few weeks of a program are just about building habits, getting your nutrition dialed in, learning the movements. And you might see some progress, but week 1 to 3, that's just laying the foundation. Real progress starts around week 4 to 6, and that's if you're consistent. Most people, they expect to change the world after 2 weeks. And when it doesn't, they blame the program. Start looking for something else. You're not failing because you picked the wrong diet or program. You're failing because you won't stick with it when it gets hard. You're avoiding discomfort by constantly searching for something easier. And it's quite paradoxical. The fastest way to progress is to stop chasing fast progress. Let me tell you exactly what makes you progress faster than 95% of people. And I have to say it's not sexy, but I promise it works. These 3 fundamentals will be your leveling process. It's the grind from level 1 to the end game. And is it boring? Yes, sometimes it is. Is it repetitive? Absolutely. Are you going to want to quit? Likely you will. But when you do the grind, you're learning how your body responds to progressive overload, what food keeps you full and satisfied, how to push through when you don't feel like it, and what your limits actually are, and how to expand them. That knowledge, you can't outsmart it. You have to earn it by going through it. So let me break down what those fundamentals actually look like. The first fundamental is training. Hit each muscle twice a week. You don't need to train every day. In fact, you shouldn't. Your muscles grow during recovery, but hitting each muscle twice a week gives you enough stimulus to grow without overdoing it. Whether you do an upper-lower split, push-pull legs, or full body, it doesn't really matter as much as people think. Pick one that fits your lifestyle and that you can actually stick to. Then you're going to do 10 to 15 sets per muscle group per week. This is the volume sweet spot for most people. And it could be 10 sets for smaller muscles like biceps and 15 for bigger muscles like chest or back. Don't overcomplicate it. If you're doing 2 or 3 chest exercises per workout, 3 sets each, twice a week, you're at 12 to 18 sets. That's plenty. Most people stop their sets way too early because it's uncomfortable. But muscle growth happens when you actually push close to failure. That last rep or 2, where you're really struggling, where the weight is slowing down, that's what close to failure looks like. If you're stopping at 10 reps just because your program says so, but you could have done 15, you're not training hard enough. But close to failure doesn't mean breaking down your form. Don't just bend yourself in all kind of positions, and that discomfort is exactly where the magic happens. From here, you're gonna apply progressive overload. That's the foundation of everything. You need to be doing more over time, whether that's more weight, more reps, or more sets, because your body adapts to stress. So if you're lifting the same weights over and over again, you're not progressing, you're just maintaining. So track your workouts, write down what you did, and next week try to beat it. Even if it's just 1 more rep, that's progress. See, there's nothing fancy in there. It's just hard work, and with consistent effort, you will progress. That's it. The second fundamental is nutrition. And I'm of the belief you don't need a perfect diet. You need a sustainable diet that aligns with your goals. Let's talk about what aligning with your goals actually means. Let's say you want to lose fat. You need a calorie deficit. Doesn't matter whether it's carnivore, keto, vegan, intermittent fasting. If you're not in a deficit, you're not losing weight. The carnivore diet doesn't work because meat is magic. It works when it does because only eating meat usually puts people in a calorie deficit naturally. Meat is filling and you eat less overall. But if you're eating 3,000 calories of steak and you only need 2,000, you're still gaining weight. Now, figuring out your calorie target doesn't have to be complicated. I've got a calorie calculator in the description below. It'll take you 2 minutes. Just plug in your details and it'll give you a starting point. If you want to build muscle, you need to be in a calorie surplus. You can't build significant muscle in a calorie deficit. Now, there are some exceptions for beginners and people returning from a break, but it's generally true. The next part is protein. Protein is a non-negotiable. Aim for about 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For most people, that's around 120 to 180 grams of protein. And just spread it across your 3 or 4 meals. Chicken, fish, and eggs, Greek yogurt, lean beef, protein shakes, all perfect protein sources. Even a protein bar can be handy, even though Joe Wicks might not agree. And this is the most important part to make your diet sustainable. The 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you're eating clean, like whole foods, healthy snacks, nice balanced meals. But the other 20% of the time, leave that for fun. That's where you can have that pizza, pints with your mates. That's the room for the birthday dinner. See, because it's not about perfection, it's about sustainability. If you're trying to be perfect 100% of the time, you'll be perfect for 2 weeks and then you'll binge and be back at square one. If you build in flexibility though, you can stick to it for months and years. I always say if you feel the need to cheat on your diet needs to change. And a third, maybe most important fundamental that most people completely ignore, and it's killing their progress, is sleep. You don't build muscle in the gym. You build muscle when you recover. Most of it will be happening when you sleep. Lack of sleep increases your cortisol, which is stress hormones that breaks down your muscle. It decreases testosterone and growth hormone, which are your muscle building hormones. It may also decrease things like libido and energy. It kills your performance in the gym. If you don't have the energy, you'll lift less, you'll fatigue faster. It increases hunger and cravings, making it way harder to stick to your nutrition, and it tanks your motivation and discipline. You can have the perfect program, even though we said the perfect program doesn't exist. Perfect nutrition, do that consistently, but if you're only sleeping 4, 5, or 6 hours a night, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Aim for 7 to 8 hours minimum of quality sleep. And no, scrolling on your phone in bed doesn't count as sleep. But I know life happens. I know you're busy, but if you're really serious about this and you do want to progress faster than anyone else, prioritize this. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier, create a routine, put your phone away. Trust me, it matters more than an extra hour of Netflix. This alone will put you ahead of almost everyone. Most people are running on fumes, wondering why they're not progressing. And be honest, you already knew all these things before you clicked the video, didn't you? Train consistently, eat right, sleep well. Knowing isn't a problem. It's doing when it's boring, when it's hard, when motivation fades, and it will. And that is exactly what separates the 5% from the other 95%. The secret isn't really a secret. It's just that most people aren't willing to do boring, uncomfortable things over and over again. But now I hear you think, how do I stay consistent with this? It will get boring, it will get repetitive. How do I stay consistent when motivation fades? Your why has to be crystal clear. See, I had a conversation with one of my personal training clients the other day. She's going to be a bridesmaid at her sister's wedding in about 8 months' time. She's quite overweight and she has to wear an open back dress on that big day, which terrifies her. So I asked her, how do you want to feel that day? You probably want to feel proud, beautiful, and confident in that dress, right? Here's what I told her. You have the ability and control today to influence how you will feel in 8 months' time. Every decision that you make now either moves you towards that feeling or away from it. If you skip the gym session today, if you order that takeout meal that you crave, I guarantee you it will negatively influence how you will feel that day. But if you give 100% right now, I guarantee you will feel better that big day where you want to feel confident. That's what consistency is built on. It's not motivation, it's not willpower, but a clear vision of how you want to feel in the future and the understanding that your actions today are directly connected to that. Think about your moment. What is your open back dress? What is the moment where you want to look in the mirror and feel proud? You can create that, but only if you stop chasing shortcuts and start doing the uncomfortable work, because comfort is what got you here in the first place. Look, the bar is set so low. Just doing the work and being consistent puts you in the top 5%. Is it sexy? No, it's not. But does it work? Yes, it does. And I know it sounds simple, but it's not easy. So I created something to help you. A 33-day email series where I send you something every single day. Daily reminders, mindset shifts, practical tips, whatever you need to get you through that critical first month where other people quit. It's completely free and you can find the link in the description. So just sign up and for the next 33 days, I'll be in your inbox, making sure you don't quit. Now, if you found this helpful, leave a comment with your biggest takeaway. And if you want me to dive deeper into one of the topics, drop them down here. See you next time.